Gunman still on the loose after 10 killed in mass shooting in Monterey Park dance studio. The gunman, who opened fire at a ballroom dance studio in Monterey Park on Saturday night, killing 10 people and injuring 10 others, remained on the loose Sunday morning, authorities said. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Lunar said a very preliminary description was that the suspect is an Asian man, but he did not provide further details. We are utilizing every resource to apprehend this suspect in what we believe to be one of the county's most heinous cases, Lunar said. The shooting occurred on Lunar New Year's Eve about 7 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Lunar said it was too early to tell whether the festival was in any way connected to the shooting. A law enforcement source briefed on the matter said the gunman used a high-powered assault rifle at close range. The mass shooting, one of California's worst in recent memory, happened in the 100 block of West Garvey Avenue at around 10:22 p.m., Sheriff's Captain Andrew Mayer told reporters Sunday morning. When officers arrived on scene, they observed numerous individuals, patrons, pouring out of the location, screaming. The officers made entry to the location and located additional victims, Mayer said. Firefighters pronounced 10 of the victims dead at the scene, Mayer said. At least 10 others were taken to numerous hospitals, and their conditions ranged from stable to critical. Mayer said investigators don't know whether the victims were targeted. There was no description of the weapon used other than that it was a firearm, Mayer said. Mayer said he was aware of some kind of incident in the neighboring suburb of Alhambra, and we have investigators on scene trying to determine if there's a connection between these two incidents. Law enforcement were also on scene Sunday morning in Alhambra at the Lai Ballroom and studio in the 100 block of South Garfield Avenue, about 2 miles north of the Monterey Park shooting. It was not clear if the police activity at that site was the incident referenced by Mayor Seung-won Choi, who owns a seafood barbecue restaurant on Garvey Avenue across from where the shooting happened, said 3 people rushed into his restaurant and told him to lock the door. They said there was a man with a semi-automatic gun in the area. The shooter, they said, had multiple rounds of ammunition, so that once his ammunition ran out, he reloaded, Choi said. One wife, who lives nearby, said his friend had gone to the dance club that night with a few of her friends. His friend was in the bathroom when the shooting started. When she came out, she saw a gunman and 3 bodies, 2 women, and 1 person, who was the boss of the club, Y said, adding that his friend escaped to his home around 11 p.m. The shooter was carrying a long gun and appeared to fire indiscriminately. His friend told him, "They don't know why, so they run," he said. The shooting occurred near the site where tens of thousands had gathered Saturday for the start of a 2-day Lunar New Year festival, one of the largest holiday events in the region. Earlier in the day, crowds were enjoying skewers and shopping for Chinese food and jewelry. Saturday's New Year festival hours were scheduled from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monterey Park's 2-day Lunar New Year festival had been scheduled to conclude on Sunday, but the day's events are canceled out of an abundance of caution and in reverence for the victims, Monterey Park Police Chief Scott Weiss said. John, 27, who declined to give his last name, lives near the shooting site. He got home around 10 p.m. and heard about 4 or 5 gunshots, he said. Then he heard police cruisers and smashing down the street. He went downstairs at around 11:20 p.m. to see if the shooting occurred at the festival. My first concern was I know they are having a Lunar New Year celebration, he said. But he said he saw that the festival had already been cleaned up for the day when he arrived. He went to the scene of the shooting and saw 1 person being put on a stretcher. Another person had a bandage on their arm.